Okay, so
I need to...
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go live in here. I think it might be easier because I think this will have no delay. I think if I go on Twitch, I think I might have like a little bit of a delay set, so it'll be annoying. But I'm just gonna stream it that way. Like while I'm watching it, my Twitch will record it. So if I want to cut it up to show other people, like what I do afterwards, it'll be easier. I can just download the VOD.
I mean, if you prefer to just do that and then I can watch it afterward, I don't want to like interfere.
Oh no, I think it'll be better if I talk to you. I mean, if it's something that I don't like it or something, like I can just do another one. You know, it's not a big deal. So
okay.
Yeah, I think you'll get more out of this probably. So
yeah, that sounds perfect.
Just trying to make sure I have both of them going.
Yeah, like the main thing I was wondering is just like, are you like using, like how many mana pots do you think you used?
That's a good question. Let me see if I can, I'll check the logs really quick. See if I can, because like I definitely use pots. I'm just trying to remember. Sometimes I actually fuck up the values because like I'll know how many I go in with and how many I leave with, but we do AQ20 right after. And then I kind of like, as soon as we kill the second boss, I Mongoloid on the second... I just like run up to the guy and buy all his mana pots. I don't even know how many he has. I don't know if you know that, by the way. The guy that you save in AQ20, the captain, he if you talk to him after the event on the second boss, he has like 5 major manas on him that you can buy like, for like
per raid or like everybody.
It's for everybody. So it's pretty much just like everybody runs up to him and whoever gets it first. At least that's what happens in every raid I'm in. So
nice. That's good to know. Yeah, I definitely need to set aside some Dire Maul tribute time to get my stocks back up because they're crazy expensive.
Yeah, I was talking to Zidane the other day, and we were talking to Nell actually, and he's like, "Yeah, I never make them basically because with the tributes and stuff like that, it's always easier. Just like people are selling them for less than what it costs to make them usually."
Yeah, it's funny. I actually like you forget that it's actually like an alchemy thing that people make because they also drop all over.
Yeah, it's so crazy, like, coming to this game from retail, because, like, in retail, it's like you pretty much always make pots because of the proc thing. In this game, it's like the opposite. It's like I'm just buying pots all the time.
Yeah, so the reason I ask about your mana pot usage is, like, the only way I can fathom you being able to cast, like, that much more than me is that you just are, like, chugging them on cooldown, because otherwise I don't understand why you're not booming.
I'm thinking it could be the pot usage to some extent, but I'm not like I don't like to chug a ton unless like I only chug when it's, well, how would I say it? It's like I try and plan the run out in my mana so that it's not like I'm literally spamming them on cooldown, because that just gets like insanely expensive, especially for like an hour-long instance. And like for a speed run or something, I'm more fine with doing that, but for like an every night farm clear, you know, it would just get kind of like a bit much. However, I do definitely use some. Okay, I just opened up the logs now.
I think I used 4 and 2 demonic runes. So like, I'm basically only using them when like I'm like I can't cast and the fight is still going, which doesn't happen often.
Yeah,
because we're so fast.
Can you, so did you check in the logs? Because I actually don't know where to find that. If you know where to find it, or you just, did you, like, you know it from...
No, I can't, I did not see consumable use.
I think hold on. I'm just going to look quick, and if I can't find it like that quick, I'm not going to spend a ton of time, but... I'm like 99% sure there's a way to do it, but actually I can just Google it. Because I'm interested in exactly how many I do use. Okay, buffs. So oh, it wouldn't be a buff though, because it's like a mana pot. It says like under the buffs, there's a buff called mana regeneration. I don't think that's it though.
Yeah, I'm looking in the resources tab, and I found like a graph of your
mana, right? Yeah.
Mana, and I'm thinking that these spikes might be pot usage. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe. I don't know if that sounds.
It sounds
right.
Yeah, that sounds a little high. I'm thinking some of that might be just drinking, but I guess the spikes would be like, are they over like a second? Is that the duration? Like,
yeah, it's just like one like a line.
Oh, okay. You know, it's probably combined with like dark runes, I bet. So that's probably, yeah, because I don't think I used 13 mana pots, but maybe combined with dark runes or something like that. Like I probably use. Let me I can go into my. Okay, so I had 44. I know that for sure. And I'm at 39. So I used 5 dark runes, and you said there were 13 spikes. So maybe 8 mana pods?
Yeah, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, it's 14. 2 of them are really close together. I'm guessing you probably popped a pot and a dark rune, like, back to back.
Yeah, that was probably Emps, I bet.
This is the, 22-minute mark.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the minutia is not important. Basically, you're not doing it back to back, which is what I was suspecting. Because
yeah, how many did you say you popped?
I think 4.
4. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I popped like a little bit more than that, but yeah, not like I wasn't popping like all.
Yeah,
the time.
not enough to. So how much? You like prioritize MP5, right?
Yeah, I was gonna start with that actually. It's really good that you mentioned that. So like everybody else that I talk to, Princor is kind of like he's on the MP5 train a little bit, but I think he still uses like plus healing for the most part. But he at least like understands where I'm coming from. But like so many other people, especially like when I talk on the WoW Classic forums or something, I'm talking with people on there or the Reddit. Sorry. They just like they think MP5 is like the dumbest thing ever, and I'm not sure. I think it might be because of how their guilds do the runs. Like if they're stopping for every boss, you know what I mean, and like getting to full, and then they're stopping for every trash pull.
Like I feel like our typical runs are closer to most guild speed runs in terms of downtime.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, and that's why I like put such a big emphasis on MP5.
Because like basically I was looking at like total number of casts and overhealing, and over the course of that entire AQ40, you cast 175 more spells than me, and your overhealing was half as much. And between the two of them, that's that like enormous gulf you see between like the overall healing.
Yeah.
So the overhealing, I kind of have an idea what's going on there and how to approach that, but I just cannot like fathom what I could be doing differently to be casting like 175 more spells throughout that raid.
Exactly, yeah. So the overhealing, like I'll address that first, I guess. So one thing that I do that's kind of come, I think, from retail a bit is like there's this ability that like basically you use it. It's called like Spirit Shell, and everything you cast becomes like a shield, and like I was like super absorb obsessed in retail because I think absorbs are just like super powerful.
Yeah, one of the things I've been working on is upping my power word shield usage, and I was pleased to see that we were very close there. So I'm happy with that because I've definitely been trying to train myself to use it basically in a cooldown.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like so we are close there. Okay, that's good because I actually didn't look into that particular detail yet. I haven't gotten to do a deep dive of the logs from the other night because I've been it's funny, the healing assignments actually got fucked up because I was supposed to Plate Milk and I were supposed to like redo those assignments, but what happened was the one we were using the ones from K3 apparently, and I thought like we were going to talk to Daedrin at some point to do the assignments, but then one day the assignments just kind of appeared there, and I was like, oh, he must have just, like, you know, did it himself, because Daedrin's a pretty good healer. He played a healer in K3 and stuff, so I figured maybe he just did them. But I guess he had just uploaded a template that had the other ones on there. So they've been kind of messed up, so I was doing that last night. But, sorry, tangent there. What was I saying about the absorbs, what you were talking about?
Like you on retail.
Oh yeah.
Talent.
So yeah, oh yeah, I was talking about we were talking about Sheild usage between me and you, and I said I didn't get to go over the logs. That's what it was. Yeah, so that's good that we're using close to the same amount of shields. The thing that I think it's not tracking, and I think the reason why the absorbs might be higher on my end, is I don't think it can count anything that's in combat. Or sorry, out of combat. And I do a lot of like pre-shielding, and it's a bit harder in AQ40 because we have the mounts. So like kind of ideally you want to be almost entering a lot of fights in the mounts if you can, but sometimes what I'll do is I'll kind of like cheat to the last second, get a bunch of shields out, and usually I'll put like a shield on somebody and then drink. And then I have a weak aura, or not a... yeah, it is a weak aura. It shows like the power word shield cooldown, like in a very easily displayable place. So I just have it like as soon as I see that tick off,
yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, I'll put another one out and then I'll spam drink again. Like I always make sure I go into raid with like an insane amount of water, because I don't just like tick drink, but I'll do like I'll literally sometimes use like 7 water before we pull a boss. Because, like, I'll just, like, cast 2 shields and then drink, and then cast 2 shields and then drink and stuff like that. And on most of the bosses, actually, I find that I really don't even need to enter the boss, like, on mount. Like, you can kind of almost just, like, especially if you're kind of, like, you want to be, like, behind the tanks, I guess, because you don't want to pre-pull the boss. But as long as you're kind of, like, close with the tanks, you can just basically shield people and just like walk into the fight. And because you have like a, you know, like a 30-40 yard range on most of your healing spells, like you'll pretty much still be in range to heal whoever you need. There's a couple fights where I don't do that because it's a bit dangerous. Like obviously Cthulhu, you want to be as mobile as possible, and then on Huhuran actually I stay on my mount. Well, I mount up definitely beforehand, and then I stay on my mount actually for a while because I want to make sure I get the fuck away from everybody else and find a spot, because if you get like hit by that silence poison, it's actually really bad. Like if a bunch of people were to get hit at the start, if it just comes off cooldown. So there's certain fights like that where I won't focus on pre-shielding, but a lot of them I focus like super on pre-shielding. I think those casts probably won't show up on the logs. The healing will, because like the damage gets taken during the encounter, but the shield cast themselves, so that might be where there's a bit of a disparity there, because that is something I noticed when I briefly looked at the logs. I have them up here actually, that the absorb bar basically is really high, although your absorb bar is bigger than Zag's here. So yeah, you've definitely been casting a lot of shields for sure, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean basically my mentality there was like, I can't heal anybody because everybody's always at full health because all the other healers are so good. So I'm just going to shield on cooldown because, like, I can't snipe that. Yeah.
It's definitely, like, some people some people I talk to on the WoW Reddit, they're, like, super anal about certain things with shielding, of, like, not wasting shields and stuff like that, quote-unquote, because obviously it puts weakened soul. I feel like in some cases that's definitely a thing, but like we don't. I think that play you're talking about is kind of fine for the most part, because unless it's a boss like Nefarian or something, like Nefarian's one that I really will never like shield the tank unless like he's about to die or something. Yeah.
You know, so somebody with like or like Broodlord.
Exactly, Broodlord.
Like mortal strikes. Yeah.
Yeah, and so as long as you understand that, yeah, it's like that's perfectly fine in my opinion, and just like, because there's so many people that like obsess about the weakened soul thing, and I just think like we're saying here, as long as like you know the context, then it's much better to actually have as many shields out as possible, because like just people not taking damage is so good. Like, there's so many things that can happen, especially on trash. Like, if we pull, like, one of those big Anubis guys, like, I definitely want to keep people as topped as possible, you know what I mean? Because if we pull something accidentally while one of those is being pulled, it's like, I don't want to be like, oh, I was afraid to, like, use shields here or something like that, and because of that, a couple people are low, and, because if all priests are, like, trying to preemptively shield and react, stuff like that, we're going to get quite a few of them out. And I think it can definitely save some people, especially in cases where there's, like, overpulls and stuff like that on trash. So, yeah, I'm super for that. And another thing people will say, too, is, like, warriors don't like shields because it hurts their rage generation. But, I mean, like, realistically, it's never gonna, like... It's not like you're shielding them the entire fight or anything like that, you know what I mean?
And losing your world buffs hurts way more.
Exactly, right? Yeah. It's such a minuscule thing that people... That's like a theory crafting thing, I feel like, that doesn't actually translate into the game, because in the game itself, you just don't want to lose your world buffs. You know what I mean? So you'll see that mentioned all over the internet, but I wouldn't, like, put too much stock in that, you know what I mean?
Alright, I gotta step away for a second, and then do you want to...
Yeah, I'll go through. Yep.
Thing going? Cool.
Yeah, sure, yep. I want to see it gear too. Okay. Can I see, like, if I go to eye level here?
Okay.
Oh, and the other thing with it was the number of casts, right? I'll say that before we get into the thing. So what that could be is it could have something to do with, and we may actually see it when we go through the stuff a little bit with how often I'm casting, but I do try and stay in that always casting mentality, but I'm not always casting, like, max ranks. So
yeah,
I spot a ton with rank 4 flash heal. When
I did notice that's, like... So, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. You did something like 175 extra casts, and I want to say almost 100 of them were the spot flashes.
Yeah. So I use those, like, a lot, just to kind of, like, put back little bits of damage when there's not a lot of stuff going on. And how I, like, figure it in my head is that it's kind of a very world buff-centric strategy, because... If I I'm actually in game right now, so I'll cast a flash on myself, the rank 4. So it's 772, right? And the plus healing doesn't affect it that much. The coefficient's pretty bad. It's like 0.4 or something like that. And that's another reason why I think it's kind of like going into, like, the super plus heal meta for priests can kind of be, a little, especially as horde priest, because as horde priest we don't get to use prayer healing as much, and that's a spell that, like, has a huge benefit from plus healing because it's hitting, like, 5 people. And on this priest, it's like I'm using a lot of shields and flash heals, and those don't get benefited by the plus healing all that much. But what does benefit a spell like that is crit, right? And I think getting crit from items generally pretty bad, because you can only get usually at max like 1% crit on an item, and there's some stuff that gives us decent crit, like Benediction gives 2 crit, and then like I think the gloves for T2 gives some crit. I actually kind of want Mish after our casters get it, because it's like 2% crit and it's the same exact stats as Halo, although now we're in AQ, so it doesn't really matter. I'd replace it with the Ouro helm. But world buffs are huge there, because we get like what, 18% crit just from world buffs or something retarded. Like it's like,
yeah, it's like 5 from Dragon Slayers,
10 actually from Dragon Slayer, 5 from
is it?
Yeah,
okay.
5 from Songflower, and then 3 from Dire Maul.
3.
Yeah. And then when we have ZG and everything like that,
and there's also the armor bonus to consider.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, and then the int from that. So it's like my heal is hitting for. I'm gonna see if I can make it crit. I can make it crit with Divine Favor. So it was like 700. I didn't actually crit. That's hilarious. Okay, so when it crits, it's like almost like 1100, and so that's why I think spotting with it is so effective when you have, because I'll probably be in raid with like, because it's 5 base crit, 18% crit, just from world buffs. And it's probably another 8% crit or so from int. So we're looking at like 30-some% crit. So even though those heals, they don't seem like they're that strong, they're actually pretty strong, because they're critting like a third of the time, at least. And the nice thing with the overhealing too is that, like when you're spotting with that level flash, you're not likely to get as many overheals even when they crit. Like if I'm max rank flashing everybody, when it crits, I'm probably wasting at least some of that heal on overheal. You know what I mean?
Right. How do you decide to use 4?
Oh, basically it's kind of just like testing to see. There's like a website that a lot of people use. I can actually send it to you. I forget the name right now, but I could find it. And it's supposed to give you like the one that's optimal in terms of like there's like a metric that they use, like a formula to give like the optimal healing per mana. But the problem is, in my opinion, is that like it's not always necessarily about healing per mana, because like I bet rank 1 flash heal is probably the best healing per mana, for example, but if I were to use that, it's not going to heal like dick, basically. You know what I mean? It's going to be like super small. So it's kind of like trial and error, and finding the one based on your plus healing that still has a chance to, you know, be a difference maker in terms of when I cast it, and kind of like top people off, but doesn't cost an insane amount of mana. And for me, that's still probably rank 4. I've been using rank 4 a while, but like I said, the plus healing and stuff doesn't really change too much on the flash heal, because the coefficient isn't that good. But yeah, so this one's like rank 4 gives me like 700 to 800 ish. Rank 1, for example, rank 1's like 500. Could be interesting to try some rank 1s. But you can kind of mess around with that and see like which one you prefer. I just felt that like I had tried rank 1 for one of our speedruns in MC, and I felt like it just wasn't doing enough, kind of, you know what I mean? Like I would cast it and I wouldn't see like the bar move, basically. Like I wasn't even coming close to topping people off, even when they only got chunked out a bit. So that's kind of how I ended up on rank 4. But I basically use like that and max rank are the two, because like max rank just when like we really need to pump or something like that. I imagine like I took a look at your gear while you're gone, because I realized you could do that in the world of log things, and like your gear is not terrible or anything, so I imagine you're like rank 4 would probably work for you as well, based on what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I was calculating like our average hits versus our overheal, and Yuumi and Zag's max rank flash heals are all basically in the same ballpark, within 100 or so.
Yeah, okay. Alright. So I will Oh, what's up? Did you have a question?
Yeah. What do you use for raid frames?
I use. I can actually show you. Hold on. I'll invite my.
Because I think the biggest, it's probably silly that I've waited this long to even think about this. I don't see other players' incoming heals. I don't know if there's a way to make. What do I have? LVUI. I don't know how to make. I don't know if LVUI can do that.
Do you have?
If it can, I will.
The what is it called? Comm add-on downloaded?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I would download that from. Well, I use the Twitch client, but that's I think
okay.
I think it should work with LVUI. The problem is like, it doesn't work with everything, and that's not. Okay.
It shows everybody's incoming heals.
In theory it does, but there's some things that it won't show. For example, like I don't think it can show Shaman's chain heal bouncing, which is actually kind of like a huge problem because like it'll show I think the initial cast of who they're chain healing, and then the bounce.
That's like, isn't it randomized who it bounces to? So it's like impossible to predict.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm not saying it should be able to, but I guess I'm just saying it's a limitation of it. You know what I mean? Because like you'll still get sniped sometimes by just like random chain. Like if you have that on, and you're still seeing like people just bounce up, it's probably chain heal. And we have 6 shamans, so it's it happens quite a bit. But that will help mitigate some of that a bit.
Yeah. I mean I think that's like the. Obviously, there's probably a lot of steps I can be taking, but I think the biggest, most impactful thing is to cut back my overheal, because right now it's at like 50%.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, and that should help with that, certainly at least a little bit. The other weird thing about it is that if I cast a renew on somebody, well, not really weird, I mean, it makes sense, but it just is misleading is what I mean. So if I cast a renew on somebody, it'll show, like, the full healing amount of the renew on them. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't do it by tick. So it'll almost be like you'll see
it shows where they're eventually going to be.
Yeah. So it can kind of be misleading, but we don't really get to renew that much anyway. So because all the warriors have it on they have it on like a macro that removes it immediately. I was gonna say renew is another tool I'll occasionally use, but it's only on our casters for the most part because like our warriors auto remove it, and it's kind of only in a case where like I'm really running low on mana. And I know that they're not going to, like, die from, like, the next incoming hit or something. Just an example of that, really quick, on a fight that it's, like, super good on, would be, like, the second boss in AQ40, when he does his charge, because it's percentage max HP. So people are not going to die unless they get to, like, I think 10% is the threshold. So as long as you can keep them, like, a little bit above that, you're pretty much golden, and Renew is like really great at that because it just trickles in healing.
Yeah, I noticed that last night. I was like freaking out because the whole raid just vanishes, but then I was like, oh, but then no one is dying.
Yeah,
so it's not that big of a deal.
It is.
Yeah, I'm like ooming on that every time because I'm just like frantically trying to keep everybody at 100, but it's just not necessary because they don't actually get killed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then he does it like so frequently. You'd probably like trying to heal everybody, or you'd probably get another one out before
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I'll open the. Can you see it right now?
Let me check. Hang on. I can open you on Twitch, but it's not like streaming in VIsc.
Oh, it's not streaming in VIsc?
Nope. If I select you, it says that you're live on Twitch, and it gives me a watch.
Oh, can you if you mouse over me in the channel, does it? What is that different at all, or? Are you mouse overing me in the right sidebar? Is that what you're...
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Normally, it will have that little, like, streaming icon next to your name. And I don't see that
Okay.
because when people have that, it means you can click on them and it'll just take you like right into the inside disk.
Oh no, hold on. I'll see if I can.
I mean, if you want to just stream in Twitch, I can like type my questions into the chat if that would be less distracting for you. And then you can like address them on your own schedule.
Yeah, I can. Let me see if I can just go into my. There should be a way to set delay to like nothing.
I just don't know if it would cause like reverb because you're hearing like my voice coming through like Discord and Twitch or whatever.
Oh yeah, maybe. Well, if it does, we can. Yeah. One sec. I'm gonna disable the delay. Dashboard.
I was bummed that I didn't get my staff. I saw that one dropped
the
your
first night.
run.
I know.
I was like, oh cool. There must be at least one per night.
I felt so bad. Yeah. Well, the good thing is that VIsc, I think, is the boss that has like, because how those work is that they're like a very, very low drop rate on like the normal bosses, like the first boss, second boss, third boss. For example, it's like 2%, but then VIsc has like a 11% for the staff, which is pretty good considering like the other items that he drops too. I think are like 10%, and then Ouro has that same percentage but for the armaments, I think. So like the VIsc is like the regalia boss, and Ouro's like, so we should get like probably like one every 2 weeks, hopefully at least.
It's gonna turn into a fucking crossbow situation.
Yeah, maybe.
You're just not allowed to set me until I get one.
Click the hamburger icon. What is the hamburger icon? What the fuck is this? Oh, preferences, channel.
When you like first log into WoW, do you get that little Discord like toggle up in the corner that's like stream to your friends?
I don't think I do.
That's probably a setting. I always get that whenever I start playing like either Hearthstone or WoW or whatever. I'll get like a little Discord pop up that's like, "Do you want to stream?" And I'm wondering if you use that, it would probably.
Oh, okay, I see.
Do what you're trying to do.
Oh, so apparently I do have it on like low latency, so I guess it shouldn't be too bad. So we can try it with this, and if it's a pain in the ass, I can fix it. But I'll just. So you're on my Twitch, right? You said.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it muted
Yeah.
so I only hear your Discord voice.
Why is it? Oh, I'm on. Okay, I need to go to my. I need to go to my
I'm also
VOD.
interested. What's that?
I was saying if you're watching now, it's fucked up because I need to go to my VOD. I'm like actually on my live stream, so it's.
Yeah, no worries. I was just gonna say I'm actually just like also just interested in seeing your UI setup because sometimes little UI changes can make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, so there's my UI. One of the things I fixed today was I swapped the place, not that it really matters, but I swapped the heal meter with the threat meter because I realized that when they do the thing where they put the tanks like separate from the raid frames, it like moves my frames over a bit. So I was like blocking that, but not that it's really important. Some things.
So you're just using the in-game frames.
Yeah, I just use default frames. I might be changing the. I think I'm gonna download shadowed frames, but I'm probably only gonna use the shadowed frames for the target because when you'll notice when I target something, all 16 debuffs are displayed, and there's no way to fix that. I don't think in the normal UI, which is really stupid. But what happens basically is that it makes it so I have to have my target frame of the thing I'm targeting elevated above kind of like my frame, which means that I just have like less space to click, like to turn my camera. So like when I'm like left clicking or right clicking, I guess, yeah, to get like an anchor point for the camera, sometimes like I'll click around that area and it'll be kind of like blocked off by the thing. So I'm going to change that eventually.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. I just I changed from push to talk, so I wanted to just make sure it was working.
Okay. And I guess just some notable things that I have in the UI is I just have like so I disable all of my like bars, or not like disable, but I have them just hidden. It's just for more space. You don't have to do that. Plenty of people have them out. But I find as like a healer, like a lot of the heals I don't really need to see because they don't have a cooldown or anything. Mm-hmm. The only thing I really care about is I want to be able to see my mana pot cooldown, my dark rune cooldown. I have the PI there, the divine favor, and then I had like trinkets there. That was from like before I got the trinkets that I have. When I get the ZG trinket, I'm probably gonna swap that in there. I'm probably gonna be doing more trinket swaps, and I basically created a weak aura that like tells me when to swap trinkets, like, and then I'll just click on the trinket there, and it'll swap it in.
I don't know. I think it's item rack that does a notification when your trinkets are ready, even if you don't have them equipped.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I have item rack too. It's good, but I have like a sound cue for it as well. Like it'll say like switch trinkets or something, but so yeah. But right now I'm just using like the rejuve gem and shard scale the entire time. Because I don't really have anything better. I was kind of sleeping on the ZG trinket a bit. Like, I think I thought the cooldown was, like, longer. But it's actually pretty good, in my opinion, now. So I'm trying to get that. I don't have it yet, though. Oh, and then something else I added, like, just recently. There's a thing called... Let me see if I can find the add-on real quick. I forgot the name, but it's called Weapon Swing Timer, and that's the thing. You'll see like the red bar and it says main hand, and if you target something, like I usually just have the boss targeted, it'll give you like its weapon swing, and it seems like
really?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
It seems like it's fairly accurate. I mean, it's like there's some things that I think aren't on the weapon swing. So for example, if like Broodlord Mortal strikes, it's not going to show. Or something like that, but it's kind of helpful in the sense of just like casting on the tank, you know, like cancel casting sometimes. It can be like hard to pay attention to, obviously, in some situations, but there's going to be some situations where you're kind of like only focused on the tank, so in those cases it's pretty nice. I have mine turned off because it gives you like 2 at the start, but I obviously don't need to see like my weapon swings because I'm never swinging them.
Right.
I think... Yeah, that bar that's like above the target bar there is just like something I'll sometimes drag miscellaneous things onto. A lot of things I'll do, a lot of times something I'll do is like, you see the dark runes and the mana pots there, so those are bound, but I have like a bar that, like, that's not the bar that they're bound on. What I did is I just brought out like a new bar, because there's like enough extra bars basically, and I just put all that stuff on there to see the visual cooldown of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, I think if you had any other questions about the UI, you just let me know, but I think that's pretty much it. I have the weak aura up top there, the healers thing. I don't know if you see that. That just shows like the raid mana.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, I could send that to you if you don't have it, but I just wanted it. Cause...
I don't have any weak auras, but like it's something I want to get into because there's so many useful ones.
Yeah, for sure. I'll send you a really useful one for PI as well.
Is there like a base like add-on you need, and then you like add new ones, or is each one like an individual?
Yeah, I can show you exactly how it works now. I'll pop into the. So once you download it, it's like a base add-on, and you just type /WA, and then you can basically, whenever you get one from the site, I'll actually go to the site right now. So this is the site, and you would just go to classic weak auras, because there's like retail ones too, and they won't work here.
Cool.
And then you go to, I'll just pick one, and then it's like if I wanted to download this one, I would click copy classic weak aura import string, and then it'll just let me know that it's copied, and then you come down there to import, and then you just copy paste it right in there, and it'll automatically add it into the game.
Nice. Yeah. What is that your MP5 tick above your name?
Yeah, it is. So I don't know why I have a weak aura sound thing that keeps playing. I think it's okay.
Do you find yourself like paying attention to that, or like really centralizing your play around that very much?
The MP5 ticker?
Yeah.
So it's mostly for just tick drinking. A lot of times in our fights, like, yeah, it won't really. I have enough mana. Yeah, exactly. Things just go so fast. So
yeah, I mean, like I remember when I was like reading all like the classic priest guides, and there, everybody's just like hammering MP5 and talking about how important it is that you time your casts and make the most of it or whatever. And now I basically like almost forgot it's a thing.
Yeah.
Because our playstyle just does not really need to incorporate it. We don't have like, it's pretty much always a sprint, not a marathon.
Exactly, yeah. And there's so much stuff like that where I feel like it's all like people like theory crafting optimal stuff, yeah. But it's like in practice
it was so funny because like during Twins, I was like, I don't know, it was maybe 2 minutes into the fight, I like moused over the boss and I was like, how the fuck is this boss still at 80%? Like, this is far and away the longest boss fight I've ever seen with this guild.
Dude, I did the same thing. Were you on the left side last night?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Panzer side.
Yeah, because then, dude, the right side. Wait till I get to this part in the fucking VOD. Like, we have to talk to like Mordots because like he is getting railed. I have no idea what was going. Like, I was actually kind of like panicked because I'm at like 50% mana and the boss is like 80% health. And I'm just like, I have to like spam flash shield to keep him up. And because the first night I was on the other side with Panzer and Tanaka, and it was like easy street. You know what I mean? Like I could use whatever I wanted to keep him up.
It was I was pretty much like just like I was very focused on like timing my power word shields to like right before the swaps and stuff, and like making sure they were both shielded and like that kind of thing, and not even really casting that much because once they got settled after 2 or 3 seconds, it was like everybody, it was no big deal.
Yeah, that's actually an example of a fight where like if you're saying like if things are controlled like that, like that's kind of a good fight where you can actually pay attention to the MP5 ticker. You know what I mean? If you want to get a little more mana back, but yeah, in most cases it's just like we're spamming. But
yeah, the LVUI like profile bar, whatever you call it, with your health and mana has like a built-in
that's dope
ticker in the mana bar. Yeah,
that's nice. I have to replace this one a little bit because I'm not sure if all of them do this, but it just like bugs out sometimes. I think it has to do with like when you're entering and re-entering combat, like it struggles to like show. It'll almost like reset the tick, like it'll come up to like here and then it'll just like reset instead of like usually it's supposed to go all the way through, right? So
gotcha. I'll
have to figure that out, but it's useful in those situations.
Let me grab another hard cider, and I will let you get down to it.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna, like, this first part is pretty easy. So we can kind of see if there's anything. Yeah, I think I'm just, like, spotting here. Yeah.
On a personal note, this is the first time I had ever done AQ40, and it was, like, kind of momentous for me, because it was, like, one of those, like, 15-year dreams. And it was just kind of funny how I was like, oh boy, here we go. And Daedrin's just like, what the fuck are you guys waiting for? Like, hauling ass right into the fray. And I was like, oh, we're doing it. It's happening.
Yeah, I know, for sure. It was like...
And, like, I was trying to, like, take a moment to, like, really enjoy Cthulhu. I was looking at the eye, and I was freaking out, and everybody is just, like, routine for them already.
Yeah.
You know, there weren't even any, like, nerd screams, and I was just like, oh my god, this is really happening.
No, that is super cool.
Kind of funny.
Yeah, I didn't really do Cthulhu in retail, or sorry, like at the time retail classic or whatever. Either I got to like Huhuran is like the farthest I got.
I think my guild did like the first like 2 bosses of AQ20.
Yeah.
Just for loot. Like that's all we could manage. We were so bad.
Yeah, times have changed so much. Ironically, I have done like a ton of knacks, but it was like the 25 knacks, you know what I mean? But a lot of the mechanics are actually very similar. Oh, yeah. It's just like the number values are different, you know what I mean? Yeah. But
yeah, in Wrath I like finally like figured out that my guild was terrible, and like I was actually really good in Wrath. We went at 11 out of 12 heroic 25 ICC.
Oh, nice.
So, we were decent.
Yeah, that Lich King was we
didn't even try.
He was crazy, honestly. Like that fight was intense. Yeah,
they didn't even like bother doing like. I think they did like 1 attempt so we could wipe horribly and laugh about it, and then they were just like, "That's it, we're done." All right, sorry, I'll shut up.
Oh no, that's good. No, it's fine. So yeah, I just skipped like through the trash because it's kind of easy shit. So one thing I do different on this that I tried differently this time is we had healers like on top of the stairs in the positioning diagram. I find that like I'm LOS from some people up there. So I honestly, if y'all like, I'll just play it through here. Hold on, I'll see what I do. Oh yeah, I'm doing the pre-show. I just skipped ahead. I should actually. Okay, so see how I have like 4. I'm trying to go back to where. Okay, so we're healing up here, and then I notice we're gonna start pulling because of course like we can't not pull before I'm 100% mana.
Do you have like a cancel cast bind, or do you just like move to the left or right?
I usually just move, but you can make a bind too. It's probably like a little bit more optimal, I guess, to have a bind maybe. But yeah, I find in most cases you can move. I'm just so used to it, so. So yeah, I have like, I think those are all my shields. Like I have, for some reason, I don't even have our tank shielded like I shielded Raza.
Another issue with my frames is they only show my shields. Do yours show everybody?
Mine will only show my shields, but it'll show like weakened soul from other people.
Everybody's weakened soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of all I need to know. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I just started.
Yeah, I'm sure I've wasted like a fair few number of global cooldowns just like trying to shield people who already had one.
Yeah, for sure. It can be hard in the heat of the moment too. But yeah, so we pull him, and I just like straight up, I just stand like inside of him basically and start healing people. Like I don't even give a fuck because our melee just interrupt him, and I have a greater arcane anyway. So I'll just like, this is my strat from now on. Like I'll just literally stand there, and then I'll move to like the mages for the PI. Nigel PM me for a PI there, but I'm actually Tic Tac's PI, so Tic Tac got his PI early. Leknot died because he got killed by warriors, so that wasn't really like our fault. He died pretty quick there. And I'll just kind of like play a spot where I can hit multiple tanks or multiple melee. And just...
Are these max ranks mostly that you're casting?
I think these are max ranks right now. I got Nell there. That's kind of good. I think she probably just got hit by the Earth Shock or whatever. These are probably max ranks because yeah, my mana is kind of going through pretty fast. It seems like, so those are probably max ranks because I know I'm going to get some time before the next boss. It's funny, they want us to move so fast, but they also like loot us the insignia, and it's like, yeah, this thing takes like 7 years to loot actually.
Yeah, it really does.
As a healer, it sucks because like I need to
Yeah.
loot that and then start drinking essentially, or tick drink. You know, I can't really be tick drinking while I'm trying to loot it, so it's like annoying as fuck. But so yeah, people are mounting. I noticed that like there's people that aren't mounted and they're also running all the way around. I don't know why, so I just drop down. I try and stay unmounted as much as I can to tick drink. Like if I'm gonna get left behind, then obviously like that's bad, right? So you don't do that. But like I'm trying to play to like how other people are playing and like the speed of the run. So if I know we're gonna be slowed down and we're gonna have to wait for other people either not mounting, or it's probably not their fault. They probably like got hung up on the insignia. You know, it probably took like 10 seconds for them to get their thing. But I noticed I was a bit ahead, so I just took the opportunity to tick drink. And now I'm seeing people get on their mounts. So I'm going to get on my mount here pretty soon. I have my normal mount bound. There's like a weak aura that like, it interchanges like your normal mount for that mount. So I'll probably get that. That way I can just... You don't really have to have it bound though or anything, but it's just slightly more efficient. So I probably dismounted a little early there. But this is pretty easy trash.
What are the two pots that you have? The black one and the purple one?
Oh, so there's an armor pot there. That's mostly for Sartura. And then they're just really cheap, so I throw it on anyway to help. It's not a ton of armor. It's only like 450. And then the other one is Fortitude pot, which is like 120 health. Just to get a little extra buffer of health. I don't know what happened to Day there. I think he got mind controlled. That's it, yeah. That's what must have happened. I should have been positioned. This is kind of it's funny. I get knocked back up, but I was mispositioned there. Like I should have had my back to the wall. I wouldn't have got knocked like that. I kind of thought we were gonna kill him though, really fast. So looks like here I'm taking the opportunity to drink, because the cool thing about this instance is that like since it's wide open and a lot of things overlap, it actually takes like a skilled puller and somebody who knows what they're doing. So we get like more time to drink than like Blackwing Lair when everything's like set. You know what I mean? Because like, well, not everything's set in there, but there's a lot of stuff that's just set. So Durang can just run in and pull it. Whereas in this, he has to like think more about how he pulls. So that actually gives us a little bit more time to get mana and stuff like that. So this, like, I know there's no mechanic that really like I need to avoid. So I just put my back against the wall, and it doesn't really matter that I can't see shit, because I'm just like looking at my frames at that point. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, this is the bug trio. I didn't realize. The other thing I have weak auras for too, but I didn't update it for this, is that for my like food buffs in particular, and you can also do it with like 30-minute buffs, but I have something that just like shows up and it's like put your night fin soup on, or I need to make one for the rum. I can share those with you once I update them. But it's kind of helpful because those things you lose track of them so quickly, you know what I mean? Because you have like a huge ass buff bar. It's like, oh, I think I don't know if I reset it. I think the bugs will be next at least. I think so. I grade our nature pot here. Like, you don't even need to really. I think if you really wanted to pot, you could just put like a normal nature pot on for this. But they AoE so infrequently that it doesn't really matter. I think I put that pot on because I thought like we were potting way beforehand for Huhu or something, but I didn't realize we were actually on this boss. So there's a bit of a misposition here, because I'm too close to the bosses and get feared. Like, you don't want to be as close as I am, but luckily I'm undead, so I just break it with the thing, and then I move away from the one that fears. I don't think I got too many pre-shields out for this one. I'll try and keep people's pets up here, like you see, if I can. Usually, obviously, only if there's nobody taking, like, huge damage. I don't have the boss targeted, which is kind of bad. Sometimes it's hard because we pull super fast. But like one thing that I'll like to do is just have like the main boss targeted, or like if I have a specific tank, whatever he's supposed to be tanking, I'll have it targeted, and that way I have access to his health. Like as you can see, Day actually dipped a little low there. I don't think he's like particularly my assign, but if I would have had that bug targeted, I probably would have noticed it a little faster, because you can see the target right there. I'll do a lot of the tank killing with that. My character's also moving like super weird because of the rum. I hate that shit. The drunk effect. Alright, let's... Okay, these pulls. So these I do a lot of pre-shields on. One thing about these I've noticed is that because we have to pull them such a distance, I stop like doing pre-shields and stuff when they get to around this edge right here. I'm not sure if shield actually pulls threat, but I think I've casted it one time and I've seen them kind of like run over to us. I don't know if it was from... I have a threat thing and I think they were on me. So I just get a little bit sketched out about casting it when they're in combat, when we're in combat, sorry, and they were like about here. So I'll usually like, I'll pre-shield until I see them around this corner. And then it's usually not a big deal because they're tauntable, so the tanks just taunt them back, but it makes it kind of a bit more of a pain in the ass for them. In terms of like how I'll spot the raid too, is like the shamans tend to cast a lot on either tanks, chain heal, or like melee. So a lot of the melee are kind of getting boosted up by chain heal. So if you... I tend to spot the casters more than the melee usually, unless they're taking like heavy damage. Like if you notice the melee started to take a bunch of damage, but then you saw all the Jesus beams go out and it was like they kind of got top back off, so... This is a good example of pre-shielding. I already have like a ton of shields out. I'm just like pretty much casting on cooldown and then drinking in between. This one's a pretty clean one, actually. In Blackwing Lair, in this one I shield the melee a lot more because they're more apt to pull aggro, but in Blackwing Lair on the tech packs, for example, I do like a ton of mage pre-shielding. Everybody mounts up quick here, so I don't really have a chance to like drink much. But there's gonna be kind of a long distance till we get to the next thing, so I think this is Fankris, right? Oh, this is Sartura, okay. I don't even really know the order in here super well. This is a boss where pre-shields on the melee are like insane. I don't think I actually get too many out here, to be honest. I repop my armor pot there, that's the black one. I also run improved inner fire. You don't really need to run that or anything, but it gives like 450 extra armor, I think, and it's not necessarily trivial because since we have like low armor to begin with, like any bit of armor, like extra armor, helps out a bit more, because I think how it works is you get diminishing returns like as you get more of it. So since we're like a lower armor class, it really helps out. Just trying to save the pet here because there's nothing else to heal. You see that PI thing I have? That's actually the weak aura. So when Tic Tac sends me the PI thing, it shows up on the screen as like red, and then it also makes like a electricity noise. Like, it's funny. I actually shield myself here, and then I realize I'm not going to take damage because we killed the ad, so I walk back into the boss to proc it like a little troll. Yeah, I just like walk back into it. Obviously, that's just like padding, but you know.
Do you only get like healing credit if the shield is used?
Yeah, it's only if it's used. Yeah. So that was just like a meme thing because everybody's 100% health. So in those cases, I'll be a little bit of a troll, but usually try and keep it pretty disciplined. Did I get the insignia from that? I think I did. I was missing an insignia. Well, I was actually missing 3 when we got done with this. This right here is like, I was trying to tick drink all the way through this, and then realized I got pulled into combat. Oh yeah, I get pulled into combat immediately, okay. Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm like tick drinking the whole time for some reason, and I'm noticing like my mana, because I know that if I tick drink, it'll go up by like 5%, I think, every time I drink, and then I noticed it was only going up by like the normal 2, so. There's like nothing to heal in here. You can pre-shield a mage or something if you want, but it's hard to really know like which one is going to get threat. And so just a lot of times it feels like a bit of a waste of mana. Although to be honest, like Fankris doesn't really cost any mana anyway, because it's such a joke of a boss. One thing I'll try and do, generally speaking, is like be ahead of the group, because that way if I do have to stop and cast a heal, like while everybody's running, they basically catch up to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I picked up on in suppression room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Generally right behind the hunters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good too, because if sometimes like I've found myself in the back in the suppression room, and that's when you're gonna get like the stray trap and shit, and once you get trapped, it's like even worse, you know what I mean, because you're already behind, and then you're in a fucking trap.
Right. Also, I forget what class I'm playing and start wanting the whelps.
This shit is like a complete joke compared to the actual suppression room, though. I was surprised like how undertuned this is on live. What am I popping that for? Oh, I think because we're doing Huhu after this is why. Because that can't be for Fankris. Wow, he pulled from super far away.
Are you manually resetting your healing meter? Or is it like every...
I have it on current fight, I think. So it just like, yeah, it resets automatically on every cast. Or every time we re-enter combat. This fight is so... It's like not even a fight. One thing too is like you'll notice how people would take damage there, kind of like in a spike, but I start with a flash instead of a shield, and that's because like it's just kind of from experience of like I know that they just got chunked by ads there, but then like I'll see the ads get taunted onto somebody or something like that, and like once that happens, like I know they're not going to take more damage, so that's why I use the flash. Because if I were to shield there, it would kind of just be like a bit of a waste, because they actually wouldn't take any more damage, and the shield would probably eventually just fade. But I mean, sometimes, like, you know, you can't predict everything, so sometimes you'll just reactively shield and they won't take more damage, and it's fine, but...
Well, it's the same concept as, you know, wanting to do, like, if you're just fighting ads while you're leveling, you want to start with, like, your longest cast.
Exactly.
Get that out of the way before they start running toward you.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky pull, because, like, it's like I want to get in there, but at the same time I want to get the shields out. Ultimately, I just prioritize the shields because me going in there kind of slow is not the end of the world. Right? Like, I'm walking in, as you can see, with everybody else. And, well, yeah, I guess our tank, well, I don't know. We had a bunch of people on mounts, but we didn't go in that fast. But yeah, I think getting the pre-shields out for VIsc is, like, just super nice. I think what the order is that if I cast a shield on somebody that has a GNPP on, which is pretty much everybody, it'll eat the shield first. So that's kind of nice. Because otherwise you'd run the risk of it like falling off. I just Dark Rune, yeah. Oh. So on a fight like this, because last time I struggled with mana a bit, I I Dark Rune immediately and pot immediately. Just try and catch up here on some people that are low.
How much NR did you end up running? Like 75?
I ran, I think 50, actually, so I can tell you exactly what I wore once we kill this. This is a fight where, what do you call it? So I actually popped my flask in the pull right there, as you can see, because it gives me the 2k mana, like on the spot. So like a lot of times I'll carry a flask on me, and then like if I need it, I'll use it.
Yeah.
If I don't, I don't. You know what I mean? Because like the first couple bosses, you definitely don't need a flask.
Yeah, that's what Panzer was saying he does with his Titans, so he gets a heal when he uses it.
Yeah.
Big brain.
Yeah, so I want to say, so I did 15 on Cloak, and then I have like my Prophecy Shoulders enchanted with +5 NR, because they're only like 10 healing down from my Trans Shoulders, which are enchanted with the normal thing. Yeah, so I swapped those in, and then I had the Frost Wand, although, like, I feel like especially with Priests, wanding is kind of like, I don't know if you wanded. Did you wand?
I got in like half a dozen right at the beginning.
Yeah,
I think that was it.
That's the best time, yeah. I probably honestly could have got more in at the beginning. So I think you did better than me in that respect. But there's a lot of, like, as long as we can shield, there's kind of always something we can be doing healing-wise. Whereas, like, shamans, it's kind of like, I can imagine the shamans are probably milling the boss a bunch at the start when, like, everybody's pots are still up, because there's almost, like, nothing they can do at that point to cause any healing, so it's kind of like they might as well be attacking. But for priests, we can be shielding and stuff, so. But yeah, and then I think I used the Noxian Trinket, so that's 10, so it's 50.
I used one of them just for, you know, the on-use.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I don't even think I think I cleansed the poison on that fight with anti-venom instead of the trinket, so I should remember that for next time. Oh, that was these packs, super good to pre-shield on, if you notice, because Daedrin just literally got wrecked, even with the shield on him there. These Scorpions just hit really fucking hard for no reason. I have no idea why, but... Oh, another thing, too, about the VIsc is that all ranks of anti-venom work for some reason. Like, if you go into the first aid and you go to create, like, it's like the level 80 anti-venom, it'll say, like, usable on mobs, like, on poisons level 20-something or below, I think, but it still works on VIsc for some reason, so it's a... Yeah, it saves a lot of money, because I think the poison...
Those anti-venoms are, like, 8-10 gold at the moment.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you can actually have, like, a rank of, like I think I have 3 ranks of that, or 2 ranks of it, and then, yeah, you have the Noxian Trinket, and that should be good enough, you know, get you through the fight most of the time. Because you're going to have a GNPP on anyway, so you're probably not even going to, like, take the first one, really. These Scorpions pretty much mostly only tank damage, but they do a lot of damage for some reason. It'll be, like, they won't do any, and then they'll just, like... destroy Daedrin. Oh yeah, this is where they have a stop because of the overpulls. A lot of cleave going on here. I don't think there was much trash, right? Okay. So Huhuran, right? This is one we don't really need to nature pot. I don't know if I nature pot here. Sometimes, like, if I just see the raid warning to nature pot, I'll nature pot. But they're mostly talking to the soakers, because, like, in a normal situation, like, if we were, like on the run I'm probably going to do tonight, I'm probably going to pot, because I guarantee if we even kill the boss, we're going to have some melee die. And once the melee die, then you'll start getting hit by the thing, so it's actually worth it to pot. But we don't really need to pot as ranged in our guild because it's never going to hit us. Although I guess if the other volley hits us, saves a little bit of damage, but... So this one I pretty much only shield the tanks because, well, I guess I start trying to shield other melee. But the odds that they're the ones that are going to be hit by the poison thing he does, because he'll do like a normal volley even before he hits like 30% at some point. But the odds that he's going to like hit these people, although I guess I got a decent amount of shields out there, so... I think what I do here is, like, right before we're... Yeah, I keep shielding, and then I see the 5-second timer. And then at, like, 1 second, I'll start mounting up. And then I'll go in, because I want to definitely be at least on my mount for this. Because I want to get the fuck away from people. I'll just kind of, like, book it to a spot. Like, I have that my eye in the back of the room there. Then I think I stopped premature to make... I was trying to get the PI out, and for some reason... I was having trouble with my PI key. I think, like, the button stuck. Because you can see Tic Tac is, like, spamming me here. I just got it out there. I spent, like, the entire fight trying to get my PI out, so this is not particularly... Something that I didn't do, because I was kind of distracted by that whole situation. The boss died so fast, and I didn't expect that, is around, like... I would say the boss being at 30-40%, it's a good idea to try and start shielding people, like, who are going to be melee soakers. So, like, pretty much, like, you know, Drunder, Coop, Raza, stuff like that. Just throw some shields on them. But I didn't really do a good job there. These are... Okay, this will be a good spot to go over. Because some of these guys actually do damage.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the generic guides for these bosses are, like, not particularly useful for us.
Yeah.
Because we're just, like, we're basically playing a different game than, like, most other guilds.
Exactly.
Just given, like, the amount of DPS and shit that's going out.
I think we have people here getting... Is the guy shadow bolting? Looked like he did shadow bolt at the start, but I can't tell. I guess we're like, I think we're close enough now. I think he was a shadow bolter, but we're...
Yeah, he was shadow bolting.
The start, right, yeah.
It was just a little bit of panicking combined with the plagues.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because that's what happened. He, Duran made a comment about everybody getting max range
for the thunderclap, right?
But it was like just the melee, but all the range started running out too, and then they started eating the shadow bolts.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. They mentioned about it. Yeah, so I think he meant max melee range.
Yeah, right.
Exactly,
It just said max range, so we're all like running out, and then we're getting shadow bolted. And he's like, "Come back in, you're getting shadow bolted." So not the cleanest.
We got Thrasher zooming on poor Ouro here because she didn't heal herself with the plague.
She's selfless.
Selfless, I like it.
So caring. I get it, bugged out, but I'm... Yeah, I think one thing that I could learn from this is just the fact that, like, every spare minute you're taking a drink.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like spamming that key.
Even if it's 1 or 2 ticks, you're just like pumping the drinks.
Yeah,
which is partly answering my question about how you're getting in so many more casts without being all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Kovac got fucking slapped there. So this is a good time to use, like, I don't know if I'll use it here, but this is... everybody got kind of popped up before I had to, but Prayer of Healing is... This is not going to be a very effective one. I guess it was, actually. The timing on the damage worked out. But Prayer of Healing is, like, really good on these. usually.
Right.
This is something too, and I think it's kind of like the fact that we didn't have assignments, and we did have assignments, but like the assignments were kind of fucked up, but we still did super awesome in these 2 runs. Was like, it made me really happy because I think people are starting to get the like they're starting to like more naturally figure out like what their classes are good at in certain situations and doing things, because like, see, these situations right here, it's like when we when our group is taking damage like that, Prayer of Healing is such an efficient heal, and the problem is, though, it ties you up, right? So if the tank were to get like crushed during that, it's a bit of a problem, but our shamans are doing a good job of like, what they're probably doing is chain healing off the tank, so the melee are getting healed, the tank's getting healed, and then we're healing the range groups. So there's like good synergy going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I will casually take a look at, the assignments and stuff, but I'm definitely more in that headspace of
just
heal who needs to be healed.
Exactly, yeah.
Because, if everybody's doing that, assignments are not as important.
Exactly, yeah. Like, the main thing for me is, like, assignments on something like twins is important, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, just in the sense of, like, you need people on a side healing a tank.
Priority system.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like, if you understand it in the sense of, like, this is the most important person, and as long as they're fine, it's not like you can only heal.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what I've been, really trying to get across to people, because I think they'll play better, too, like, when they digest that, because it's just like when you're trying to follow something too rigidly, sometimes it takes away from like what you intuitively know, you know what I mean, which is like Jesus. Oh, it's a thunderclap. Okay, yeah.
I was trolling Duranosaur in AQ40 after this. Every time we fought one of these Anubis things, I was like, Plague on Azelus.
yeah
And he would like move for a second and be like, wait a minute.
These went a lot smoother than the night one, for sure. I mean, we didn't wipe on them or anything, but we had people take a lot of damage sometimes because it was like the thing that Duran was saying, where people would be in the melee regardless of whether the guy was a Shadow Bolter or not. So like that thunderclap would like kind of decimate everybody. It's also something that Creepy mentioned too, but is somewhat hard to do. And I don't know about you, but currently I don't have the Greater Shadow Protection like 5-man party buff, because it's like super expensive right now, and I just don't feel like getting.
Yeah, it's like 200-300 gold.
Yeah, I don't feel like getting fucking like taken advantage of in the auction house. So, but Shadow Protection in here is not terrible, and then like right after we kill the first boss, there's like some mind play packs. But there's like so few of them after the first boss, I don't even think it's like worth it to try and get it up. But getting it up like intermittently might be a good idea, so I might try and work on that, just in the case that we do get some Shadow Bolters out of these. It's not like a super important thing, because theoretically like we shouldn't be getting Shadow Bolted, aside from the first one. But it's just something where I guess if we have extra time...
You should ask a day to use the guild bank to buy us all books.
Yeah, honestly, I think that I don't think they're opposed to that, but I think
it's not. I mean, it's not a ludicrous request, right?
Oh, no,
it like definitely
not,
benefits the raid.
Yeah, I think that Ouro mentioned something to Smashy, or it was like Nell or something like that the other day for the shaman thing, and I think he was just saying that they're waiting for the shaman books from AQ20 rather, but they're waiting for them to come down in price. So maybe once they come down. Because right now they're not something that is like super necessary, I guess. But that's something too. If you had any questions about the AQ books, like I'm not... Like, we're probably going to get them anyway, because it seems like they drop a decent amount of the time.
Yeah, I got Renew last night.
Nice, yeah. I think there's like Renew, Greater Heal, and then... is it Prayer Healing? I think, yeah.
Yes.
The one I actually want is Prayer Healing.
Prayer Right. Yeah.
But
I mean, I feel like greater healing is just like not something that we really very use that much.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, in the situations where I would use a greater heal, it would almost always be with the ZG trinket and, like, rank 1 or something, you know what I mean? Or, like, rank 2.
Right.
Like, having a max rank greater, the only thing that would be good for, I guess, is, like, Divine Focus. I guess Zach was just, was saying they should put us on different sides, but it doesn't matter. I think he was confused with the assignment sheet versus what they're saying here. I think what I'm going to do is on the... it works better, I think, for Twin Emps if Smashy just says, like, he does the calls on what group, like he did the past 2 runs, because on the assignment sheet, we have, like, it's like this healer goes left, this healer goes right, but if they're not in the right groups when we get to this point, which, I mean, I guess you could, if you're the person who makes the groups, you could set it up that way intentionally, but I feel like things get moved around a lot, so it's probably better if we just call it on the spot with, like, odds going one side, evens going the other side. Yeah, you'll see that this is actually hilarious. More dots is about to get destroyed. I didn't play this side at first. I played left side the other week, so I wasn't aware of the how the Scorpions worked. I think you played left side this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way they make it sound is like it's the scarabs, like on the guides, that explode, but it's actually like you'll see there's some Quadri Scorpions or whatever they're called. Those are the things that actually explode, so I wasn't, like, aware of that. And I get hit by a couple here. Luckily, they only do like 2 to 3k, and then, like, not many are gonna hit you at once. So I think we start. Yeah, day's fine, and then watch when more dots. This is something you gotta watch out if you're on my side. See how Daedrin is getting hit by the shadow bolts there before it goes to more dots. See him in more dots almost just evaporated. He's getting, like, crushed.
Wow. I wonder if he has less shadow resist than Tanaka.
Yeah, well, we'll mention it just to... But he's, yeah, like, I couldn't move there from the bug because I just had to, like, heal him. I guess I should have moved, I don't know, but, like, I felt like if I moved at all, he was gonna die, like if I interrupted my cast.
Yeah, Tanaka was pretty easy to keep up. He you know, it was a little bursty right at the beginning, but
yeah,
nothing like that.
This is the part where I'm like, oh fuck, because I'm at 49% mana and the boss is like, what, 67%? I'm like, eh.
Right.
But I think what happens is, like, we start off really slow on this fight, obviously, for threat and stuff like that. And once we get into a groove, yeah, exactly. And then there's execute phase, so.
And then, yeah, absolutely. That's what happened with Cthulhu. I was like, oh shit, we're not going to one phase it, but then they hit execute phase and he just evaporated. I was like, never mind.
Yeah, there's the Shadow Bolt thing going on again, where he's just training Daedrin. So if you're ever on that side, like, once they switch and you're thinking, oh, the Warlock tank's about to take damage, it's like, no, he's probably still going to be aggroed onto Day, yeah. And Day he's not going to run Shadow Resist because he can't, because he needs to be mitigation for the melee guy, so he's going to get hit really hard. Another good thing to pre-pop in this fight, which I did last time but I forgot, is I pre-pop a Frost Protection and a Fire Protection. Fire Protection's for the bugs when they explode.
Yeah, you're taking... I don't think I took any damage.
Yeah, there's none on that side, actually. There's no explodey bugs, at least. There's, like, bugs, but they don't... it's only on the right side. Something that I think I'm going to do, actually, is play more towards the middle of the room as well. Because I think we kill more bugs there. It seems like I just seem to be in a spot where I'm
Yeah, I was
like
on the,
surrounded by bugs.
I was on the stairs, if I recall correctly, which worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Near the base.
Yeah, I might play the stairs or even mid, because you'll see that I make a mistake here soon. I've gotten hit by some stray bugs, which is also a mistake, but they have quite range. You can see, huh? Like that's what I didn't expect, honestly. Now I know better that the range is big, but so I'm like kind of inching forward here, which is not really. I'm not doing it intentionally, but
oh yeah, I remember you got murked.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna. Hold on. Okay, I think this is where I die. I'm gonna slow it down. So I'm gonna just rewind it 1 sec here, because so it's weird. So okay, he's alright. So he's casting on more dots, right? And then so Daedrin's like right here. I think the problem is, so see when he actually teleports. Oh my god! I just. Let me go back. Okay, so he just teleported right there, and I think what it does is it snapshots or something, like who was closest on the teleport, because you'll notice like now it's the melee guy here, but he like pauses for a second and doesn't do anything, and in the time that he's paused, Daedrin gets like almost inside of him, right? But he still comes to me, which is weird, because Daedrin's right here now where my cursor is. I'm right here. So I guess, like, I'm closest. I must be closest. I don't know. I don't look like I'm closer than him, maybe, but maybe I am. But, so he's running in, and he's, like, now he's been in there for a while. And then he just turns to me, which is, like, weird as fuck, and just, like, slaps me. But yeah, so I guess like when they teleport is maybe when it takes into account the proximity of the people. But there's really just no reason. There's no need for me to be there at all, really. Like I could be out, like where Quo is, and be fine. So I was kind of tilted because I was like really pumping on that one, and but. Let me. Okay. So that there wasn't really much. This is a spot where if we do the skip here, but when we actually get to these trash packs, let me see. This is the one we pull, right? Oh no. So these are a good trash pack to like shadow prot your group. Before we pull if possible. You'll notice I have a 15-minute on me. I'm not sure about the melee. I think the melee might have room for it, but I'm not sure if they have the auto remove thing, so I'll find that out and I'll post that in Priest channel. But
well, we gave it to everybody for Cthulhu.
Oh, so. Okay, yeah, so they must not have it on their thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good point. These guys, you basically just stay away from the Mind Slayers, because when they die, they fear, and I'm, like, running up to this one like a retard for some reason. And I'm probably gonna, yep. But these are definitely, like, really good pre-shield packs. Tanaka got super threat on that guy. I don't think there's much significance there. Did you end up mana burning any of these? I found that I didn't really.
I was.
You were? Okay,
yeah.
Alright, yeah, I'll maybe keep more of an eye on that. Because it seemed like they were pretty good, but if you were mana
it never got close.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how much of a difference like my mana burns were making. It seems like one person is like a pretty small portion of their overall mana.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it made a difference or not.
Yeah, I guess we have like, I think 1 Hunter Sting. I don't think they can overlap, so we'd have 1 Hunter Sting and like 3 Warlocks usually.
I'm pretty sure you can have multiple.
Oh, you can. Okay, all right. Well, if that's the case,
yeah,
then...
because the reason I say that is because when we get the nature vulnerability, like they all throw Scorpion Sting on the same mob.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, that makes
but
sense.
That would be worth checking into for sure.
Yeah, for sure. On these, it's the big guy that silences. You can max range it, I think, but sometimes you're just gonna get.
I tried.
Oh, you can't.
I tried. Yeah, I mean, maybe I wasn't quite maxed, but after the second or third one of these, I was like, okay, this is bad. So I max range Daedrin, and I still got hit by it.
Yeah, I wonder if I thought I did it once, but I may have run out of actual like max range itself. So that could be something we could maybe try and do, is like play on the edge of max range and then run even a little bit further out or something like that. I'll have to try that next time. Oh, this is the double pull that turned into a single pull.
Oh yeah, that was so terrifying.
I was like, oh my god, we're gonna die here because one of these things. Like, I was literally just about to spam mana burn one of those things because I was like, people are gonna forget or something. It's funny, like threat bounce is like, it's like I'm almost healing DPS more than like tanks because like people just go ham on shit right away and just rip it off. I think I'm going to see if I can... I think this is the one, actually, where I didn't get silenced. I wonder if I just got a resist. It could have been possible. We'll find out. Okay, I got silenced there because I was literally standing in it, but then I think he gets another one off, maybe. So I think here I like deliberately try and stand far as fuck away. Or me. Oh no, I just resist it. Okay, yeah. I wasn't even max range there anyway. So yeah, it's probably like the full 40 yards then. Was it question? Is there a timer on it? Let's see.
It's not a cast, right?
I don't. No. But I mean, like, I wonder if there's like a DBM gives me anything. Doesn't look like it here. Yeah, the only thing left up is the best clear thing. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I guess it'd be hard to kind of deal with, honestly. Because you have to have some type of like timer if it's max range, that way you could dip out, but
didn't seem to be too much of a problem though.
Yeah, I think it was a problem the other night. Oh, what's up? What was that, sorry?
I just said once the other things were dead.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Not hitting too hard.
I was gonna say, I think the reason why I had it in my head that it was bad is because on the first night we got like a double pull with one of those, so at that point it was kind of bad because like more damage was going out than should have been, you know what I mean, and we were silenced. So. Somebody was saying, I have to remember, I was just asking guild chat, I guess, that you can cleanse the silence with some sort of consume. So I might bring some of those with me just in the event that like if things go bad when it's silenced, I can cleanse out of it. Shadow prodding, I think. Yeah, okay. My corner's like the front left one. One thing here is I target the eye, and that's because, well, usually I'll try and target the boss, but There's a weak aura that you'll see, which is kind of helpful in a second. I'll share that. I'll share that with you too. I don't want to give Tic Tac SPI here because I don't want to kill people. There's just like nothing going on. There's like so little damage that actually goes out when we enter the room. Like,
yeah, it's kind of anticlimactic.
It really is, honestly. You'll see it in a second, I think. When you see that thing beam on you, so that tells me like almost like a second or two. You'll notice like before he does it. I think it's because Cthulhu targets you, so the weak aura works off of him targeting. So yeah, if you're in range of anybody,
I got beamed, but I didn't have that, but I got beamed, but just where I was standing was good enough anyway.
Oh yeah, well, that's like me. See, I have the range 10, and I wasn't in range anyway, but I just have it in case, like, I happen to, you know,
gotcha.
Try and run even further away from people. This scared the shit out of me. I almost died to the...
Oh shit. Oh my god.
I have to remember that, like, he starts it there, because I think he started there last time too, unless he starts in a random place, but...
I don't know how you survived that. That was on you.
Yeah, I think it was a little to the left, but it was basically, it was, like, really close.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to know that the actual, you know, range of it is pretty tight.
Yeah, tight to the animation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was... I actually, like, when that happened, I just thought I was dead, and I was gonna be like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed dying of this shit. But I was alive. And then in this phase, like, you can do the same thing. You can target the eye stalks, and it's the same thing as, like, when I target Cthulhu, because that's where the beam comes out of, in this phase. Did it spawn yet? No. Okay. Man, I'm just smiting. This fight's just such a joke.
I was still geeking out though.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's cool. It actually looks cool as fuck, and like.
Yeah, I mean after it's literally like 15 years of, when I was in middle school idolizing people who did this shit.
Yeah. Never
imagining that I would actually see it.
And it's such a different style of fight too.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's neat for sure. I haven't gotten put in the stomach yet. I want to go in there and. This is Ouro, I think, right? Yeah. Again, I'm just trying to pre-shield the shit out of the melee and get tanks on.
I heard that some of the other guilds were having difficulty with this guy too, but
yeah, it's because their strategy is, I think. I think the problem is they don't realize that the frontal he does, like the sand spray, is actually 180 degrees and not like 90. So. What was happening is like how they had the boss positioned. It was like actually hitting their range group. Because I was watching it was like RTK, I think, like wipe on this. But like the way we're positioned, it's almost like impossible for us to wipe. I feel like unless like one of the people in the caster group pulls threat. But we even have the mages off to the side that are like highest on threat. I think I shielded myself there because I thought I was getting hit by the thing, but I wasn't. In this fight, there's almost like... It's just like basically if people get sandblasted, and then it's like you want to be like not close enough to get knocked back. And that's kind of like the main thing.
This fight is interesting to me because it's one of the few where I actually like competed with you.
Oh yeah, and like on the HPS.
So I'm like trying to figure out like what was different about this one that I was like doing so much better.
I think that it might be that this one's more like reactive. Oh, Daedrin actually died there. Huh? Oh yeah, I was kind of like, I was but I was like, yeah, he's gonna die anyway, so. It might be because this is like a more reactive type fight, where on some of the other fights, I think what may have helped me out was that it was I had more preparation or setup going in with the shields and stuff, whereas this I did a lot of pre-shielding, but I don't think they actually got much use because the melee for the most part shouldn't be pulling threat. So I think what we should do maybe is like shield the range on this fight, like the mages who are most likely to pull with ignite. Yeah, I guess you're just hitting your flash shields. Weren't getting sometimes it's a bit of RNG too, you know, like you'll do better on one fight or worse on another just because you are gonna overheal. It's just like an inevitability. So sometimes it's gonna be like you might get sniped, you know, like feels like all the time. Other times you're gonna be fine. Another thing I was gonna mention too about gear is I use 3-piece tier 1, but it's not really like intentional for the 0.1 minus to flash, but that could be helping a little bit in that regard to get them out faster.
I did that.
Oh, you did that? Okay, yeah. I got so lucky getting that neck because like the two people who were in front of like, so it was like I think it was NBA and somebody else were in front of like me and Auk and Elena, but they weren't in the raid. So all three of us got to roll. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right? Yeah, that's Thunder
cool.
Fury. But yeah.
Well, thank you. That's very helpful.
No problem. Yeah, did it feel helpful?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, that's good.
Because one of the primary reasons it was helpful is because it assured me that there's not some like massive thing I'm missing. Like sometimes I get frustrated when I'm looking at the logs because like there's such a gulf between us. I'm like, there's got to be some like super obvious, you know, 101 thing that I'm not doing. And after like watching you play, there's really not.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like more of like a compilation of the little things, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's just like the drinking, the, you know, the sniping or topping up with lower rank flash heals, you know, the pre-shielding, always be casting, you know, the pre shielding. It's like all, you know, so let's say you heal 40% more than me on a given night, like each one of those things is like
a little percentage of it,
of all chunk. So it's definitely helpful.
That's good, I'm glad. Yeah, I completely understand what you mean too, where it's like you just look at the logs and it's like it's so nebulous. It's like you obviously see the results, but you don't see how you got there, you know? So it's like harder to pinpoint what to do.
Yeah, because like, you know, with the hunters, it was like I was right there, you know, with everybody else, keeping up with everybody, and it was like, you know, some people would be a little better, a little worse, and like you could like clearly see what that difference was. But like with the priest, it's like I'm getting like squashed.
Yeah,
it's not even close, and I'm like, am I that bad? Am I missing something huge? And I'm not. It's
yeah,
just
you're not.
Like
yeah.
A bunch of little chunky things that are like adding up to a big difference.
I mean, like honestly, too, I think that like the priests have we have some pretty damn try-hard people, we have experienced people, and we have like there's some pretty good priest players for sure. So they're like trying to min-max, especially like Zag and Princor, or like they're like pumpers. You know what I mean? So they're it's in a situation where like when you're coming into the class like a little bit newer, and like you said, like you're not doing anything. That's why like, the first time we talked, like I wasn't like being untruthful when I was saying like you're not doing anything bad. You know what I mean? It's more just like I guess it was like lacking of the little things, which is harder to like for me to articulate without watching it with you through. So I'm glad we did this. Because, yeah, it's definitely not, like, bad play. It's just kind of, like, little things, for sure.
Right. And also, one of the ironies is that, like, you know, with damage, it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
With healing, like it's almost like inverse, because like the better the other people in the group are, the harder it is for you to excel.
Exactly.
There's not as much healing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, like, overall, like, we'll never actually get, like, super good parses, quote unquote, as, like, healers, you know what I mean? I think the highest, like, I'll get is, like, a 99, and I probably, like, on Veil, for example, for Blackwing Lair, like, I think I'm at, like, a 55 or something, you know, because it's just, like, our healing's so good. And, like, in the position that we're put in, like, Priest can't use prayer healing on that fight, really, and because we're in, like, a caster group, which never takes damage, so... Yeah, it's like the better your guild, the worse your, the less you'll have to heal. Which is not a bad thing, obviously, but... it makes it interesting.
Yeah, you know, I'm not shooting for 99s, but I'd be happy to get out of the 30s and 40s that I'm currently hanging out in.
Yeah, I feel ya. Like, I'm kind of that way, too, where, like, I know that it's not, like, the parses themselves aren't really, like, that super indicative of performance, but it still feels like shit to see, like, a 30 or a 50. You know what I mean? So it's like...
Yeah, I mean, right now, what I'm basing my metrics on is just, like, the overall healing done for, like, the...
Exactly.
Like, trash and like, I'm kind of middle of the pack for healings overall, but I'm, like, really looking at the priest, because, like, that's who I should be comparing myself to.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I look at that, it's, like, not even close.
That's something, though, that I'm glad you're kind of looking at the overall, too, because I think that's, like, much more important than the individual bosses, for sure, because the overall is going to, like, show you more of, like, the mana management and stuff like that throughout the course of the entire run. Versus, like, on the bosses, a lot of times, like, aside from, like, Twin Emps, we're always going to have, like, mana to, like, finish the fight. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, crap. All right, I'm doing a last-minute Blackwing Lair here. I can't reserve Rejuve Gem, so what's the backup?
What do you... I mean, actually, I can take a look at your gear.
I don't think there's anything else I need, to be honest.
Did you... So this is on Ribba you're doing it on?
Yeah.
Are
there any... Oh, you know what I want? Bring a Blackrock.
Honestly, oh, dude, I want that too. I'm so, like, annoyed. I like, shafted myself for it on the list. So...
Yeah, that's what I'm going to reserve.
So I don't have you in on, I don't have you in on Monday?
No.
I guess for that, okay.
That's why, right?
Yeah, I mean...
The current...
The current sheet
Fury assignment
doesn't have you in, right?
Correct, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. One thing I was going to say is that because, like, we have a bunch of people who are getting more gear, like, did you pull yet, or are you... Because, like, if you want to come if you want to come to the run, you can take my spot, but, like, I will go to our run if you'd rather do the... it's completely up to you, though. Because I want to start getting, like, more of you guys in, especially because I know you got shafted a little bit because of how we did the Dark Moon Fair, and that was my bad. But I fixed that this time around for the AQ, so everybody should have equal number of reps. But,
Cool. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll do this one.
Okay, that's fine,
just to mix it up a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe you get to do some more healing than usual, because the skill won't be as good.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all. I can't think of any other questions. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, no problem, man.
This was very, very enlightening.
Yeah, anytime at all. And yeah, if you, I know you said you pretty much have everything answered for now, but if something comes to mind, just always feel free to PM me. Stuff like that. So.
All right, will do. Thanks so much.
Yep, sounds good. Good luck in Blackwing Lair.
Thanks. See you later.
See ya. Oh.